Hi everyone, it's Nelia. Just wanted to get in touch on something that I came across last night. Um, Number one, I wanted everyone, whoever sees this, to take a look at a movie. I came across this guy who was talking about what was going on in the world, and he had stated that these things that were happening in the world seemed very familiar. So he mentioned this 1920s How to Rule the World movie, and I looked it up and I thought it was hilarious. It pretty much, like I said, it pretty much mimics what's going on today. So I thought it would be important to spread that. So look up 1920s How to Rule the World and watch the video. Also, this goes back to what I had said previously about the 18th century in British ruling. It kind of all rings into the same idea. Also, I wanted to talk about another video I came across about Babylon 1 and Babylon 2. It's some sort of video that was that just appeared on YouTube, and I just thought since I'm looking into and trying to track the fallen angels, their locations, and how they change their names from one thing to the next in order to make you believe that it's all different groups when in reality it really is them. Um, and so anybody that can give me anybody that wants to leave any posts to kind of give me more additional information if they have it on the fallen angels, any new names that they go by. And also I wanted to talk about this movie. It's about this guy that comes on and he's talking about Babylon 2. And he's taking verses from the Bible and incorporating it and stating that it mimics a lot of things that are happening today. But the problem with it I found was that we're already there. So we know and identify that Babylon is the West, where we are, Massachusetts, the United States. Remember, I wanted to remind people that the United States is a corporation, not the United States. United States corporation is separate. This is some sort of British ruling, and they hide that fact. They hide that fact. They don't want people to know. But the only thing left that the U.S. has is the U.S. Constitution for the citizens. Um, and that's all it is. And not too many people talk about it anymore. I don't see too many videos. I don't see too many people talking about it. And a majority of these corporations here in the West are all under British ruling, being told to create in your cities and towns these states and federal regulations. Soon it'll be apparent. Most people know Bitcoin. Now they call it crypto. As you could clearly see, they're constantly changing the language because they don't want you to put it together. So they always want you, that's the point of them changing the language. They always want you to believe it's something new. Reality, it's still the same thing. It's still the same people, same thing. That's why they're always changing the language to confuse you. Bitcoin is still crypto. No matter how many times you change the name, it still goes back to British ruling, what they're attempting to do. And that's to remove the Constitution, to replace it with their ideas. And if we continue to allow them, that's what's going to happen. Of course, we have to understand that a lot of people are still sleeping. They haven't woken up, so they're going to follow the program. And a lot of people will come into contact with things like that. People who disagree, those could be people who are asleep with demonic entities in them, going along with the program. Because as you know, you have to start putting it together, British ruling, demonic entities, fallen angels. This could also be where they're hiding behind these labels and corporations and different names that they hide themselves by. If you notice it, UN, CDC, WHO, the World Bank, Illuminati, um, you could start to clearly see why it is they're constantly changing corporation names and changing so you don't identify that that's who they really are. At least that is my opinion from following and putting all the evidence together, that it's the actual fallen angels. Another thing I want to discuss, let's go back to this Babylon thing. So I concluded that Babylon is considered New York. California is a portion of it with their crazy music industry and movie industry. You could clearly see that's also under demonic possession, and you could clearly see the craziness that goes on there. Many other people have already, as well, already deemed that it's a demonic area where they do bizarre things. They believe in bizarre cults, and they try to push that into the world to feed it for you to accept it. Another thing I also known, so I clearly identify as this guy was talking about Babylon and the three, let me see, one, two, three, the four, they're interpreting Revelation, and so they're stating that Medo, Persia, Greece, Rome, and Babylon is all part of this, all part of this scenario. But we do know that there's a lot of YouTube videos of a lot of people who are following God, and God clearly states this, that Babylon is coming to an end. Which leaves us with these three that are not associated with Babylon. Since we know that Lucifer, a lot of people in the music industry and movie industry mention they are bowing down and worshiping Lucifer. So we know that the fallen angels are in association with Lucifer. They're his brothers. So we know that the West, Babylon, is here in the West. So people should know this. Please leave your comments about what your opinions are of this, and if you have additional information that I could put it together. So I do believe that the U.S., not everyone, but Babylon is here in the West. It is not in Europe. I do believe the other people that this guy talked about in this thing called Babylon 1 and 2, he mentions Europe as well. But I don't believe Babylon is in Europe. I believe Babylon is here in the West, and I believe New York is part of it, and New York and California, because that's where Hollywood, California, is what I believe. They're also part of it. That's where their movie and music industries are portions of. So I think that those states are part of this arena of Babylon. Again, like I said, those fighting for the U.S. Constitution, the laymen, are not involved. That's what I believe. That's what I'm putting together. So we still have, according to what they're talking about Revelation, in figuring out who the beast is, whether it's a beast system to arise or it's an actual individual that's going to come out. And I don't believe it's Lucifer. I've had interactions with him, and he's never identified himself as a beast or a Satan or a devil of any kind, and nor does the music industry. The music industry also, if you noticed, the music industry does not identify Lucifer associated with any Satan, devil, mark of the beast, 666 as anything associated. They identified that they bowed down to Lucifer, and that's it. There is a confusion how they attach Satan and devil to Lucifer and this 666. So there's some misunderstandings. People are taking things from Bibles and attaching it to individuals that don't belong to them. I too agree that Lucifer is not Satan or the devil, nor is he the mark of the 666, nor the beast. I believe people are being misled, misunderstood. Misled and misunderstood. I've had interactions with this man, and he's never, ever stated he was any of those things other than Lucifer. And also, I wanted to state that we have to understand that the Bible is a metaphor. It was done in coding metaphors. So we cannot take those things literally. It could be systems. It could be systems developed. It could be an individual that has yet to arise, that is unknown, and it could be it could be other things as well. It could mean lots of things. So many people are taking things from. Many people are taking these things and taking it literally, as though it means it literally. Now, the one thing I want to state that this is what I believe. God identified Lucifer as a liar. So why would anybody believe that he's Satan and the devil if he's known as stating lies? So why would anybody believe anything he says? So these people, I think, are the ones attaching these things and automatically assuming that this is who God is talking about. And I find it hard to believe that that's what the case is. Lucifer is more sexually disturbed along with the fallen angels. If we look specifically at biblical writings between the actions of the fallen angels coming down here, they mated with women. It was a sexual act. They showed them sexual things, showed them occults, taught them cult things, and things like that. This does not sound, they are more of a sexual nature, sexual perversion. They're associated with more sexuality, perversion, as you could clearly see in the music industry, the movie industry, New York City. You could clearly see the heavy load of sexuality. That's what they're associated with. God talks about a beast coming out of the waters as a different person, a different character. So I'm going to leave it at that. These are topics that could go on forever, and there's so many interpretations. Again, I'm not trying to start a religious movement because I don't follow the churches. I believe they're also liars. I don't follow those rulings or anything. They seem to mimic. This corporation, this U.S. corporation for profit. And if you look at the rules that they pin on laymen, U.S. citizens, the people that are not part of this program, not part of this idea, this corporation idea, you'll see that it matches. They have the same idea, same ruling. The churches force you to go by some sort of this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. That doesn't seem like anything that has to do with God. People, I think in the beginning stages of Genesis, it shows you that people were free. The people were free. There were no religions. They dealt with one another. So it seems to oppose their U.S. corporation churches. So remember, God states that the priests, I believe doctors, saints, and all the others were killed at the altar. They were killed at the altar. So you're not dealing with real priests. You're dealing with a group. You're dealing with churches that are part of a U.S. corporation, and they're selling something. And usually it's for profit, rule making and profit. It is not anything that's associated with God. It is not anything associated with a human, between a human and God. So people really need to look at that. You really need to pay attention that their rulings seem to be more of telling you how to be to control you. And that doesn't seem like to be anything about free people, about how it was like in Genesis. No religions, people just dealing with people. So it seems to me the churches of today and these types of things are all part of some sort of the U.S. corporation. And again, as I did my research, it leads back to British ruling of the 18th century. they're attempting to override and get the people to free willingly agree to accept their British ruling, which I also believe is the fallen angels behind that British ruling as well. Even though they call it that, I also believe that there's some sort of connection. So you're more than welcome. So I'm going to leave it at that. And you're more than welcome to leave your opinions, any information that you may have, whether it's agreement or disagreement. And the more information I find, the more I'll put it out there. Thanks so much.